What the heck is going on? Well, not much yet in this screen, but in the other screen I'm watching Toradora. So if you don't like Toradora, well, I do. So the question I always ask is, where are we at? And after I did the last shot I did, I've been out for a few days actually, because I was kind of sort of feeling like I was getting the flu. So I sort of spent a day in chilling. And in addition, I've been rather sidetracked with some other business related stuff because we've been kind of taking some steps to ramp up sales this summer for services that have nothing to do with animation. So this has been a little bit of a time suck, but here we go. The last shot I did was this one, and there were a couple things about it that were, there was a little bit of animation chatter where I had done some patching and whatnot. So so I'm just kind of sort of reviewing the project. Yeah, we're gonna have to do some color correction on these guys, I suspect. It's like the blacks aren't quite black enough. But the real issue we have right now is we've got to jump back to OpenTunes to see what the heck we were doing before we sort of battled. I read the file name, which is the battle back half. Let's see. Let's go to the first frame. Yep, there we go. And we've got that in there, and except this picture of Zen is like horrible. Okay, so yeah, so here's what happened. We do not want to have a camera rotating around these guys. So this is not so horrible. In fact, it's kind of funny, so I think we should keep that. What's problematic is this shot, and I don't know, it doesn't really work for me so well. I think maybe we should just do a close-up of Zen. So to be clear, after he turns to face his opponent, you know, his opponent kind of stares him down a little bit. So I actually think what should really happen here is we should have a similar close-up, even closer, of Zen. Now, if we were going to do that, then what would happen afterwards? Yeah, we'd have this, which we can go ahead and render and cut that in. That's not so bad. In fact, I definitely like this particular rendition of Akari. So, what do we need? We need a close-up, don't we? And actually, the cool thing about that is the nature of the close-up we need suggests, and by the way, when I'm in Krita, I always delete the initial frame because it's got a white background, which is kind of problematic. So what we want to do here is we want to turn this on. So we can just go ahead and, you know, do a really tight close-up. But the cool thing is it's going to be symmetrical, which is super cool if you're into that sort of thing. I'm laughing because I talk here into the camera and then people walk by behind me and I feel a little silly because I'm like talking to the camera, you know, and she's over there chuckling because I'm talking to the camera. Oh. So, it's been a busy day. The day's been mostly related to stuff having to do with business development and sales and stuff like that, and databases and email, and it really hasn't been a very anime-centric day, which is a bad day by any standard. So therefore, isn't it important that we go ahead and spend some time drawing characters that we love and enjoy? Yes, exactly. That's exactly what you were going to say. You were going to say, Dave, you should be drawing pictures of Zen. Okay, so that's actually not so bad. Be pretty easy to ink. The questions that come to mind are, number one, do we want to go ahead and try to animate a push in right here in Krita? I think not. Actually, it's so easy to do it in Blender by just scaling the frame. So I think we should just do that. Now, I'm not sure that, yeah, you don't want to draw Zen with really tiny pupils. I don't think that quite works for him, for his character. Now, the question becomes, this is where it actually gets really interesting. Zen is supremely confident. I actually think what we should do is kind of go like this. And then let's get rid of the eraser thing. Make him look completely chill, like he is not even concerned. In fact, let's even take it this far. Yeah, that's better. That's better. I didn't draw it perfectly well, but that's what I'm going to go for. I'm going for the Zen's feeling confident kind of thing. You like that? I like that. Okay, so what I want to compare this with is going back here, looking at his hair situation. Yeah, you want to make sure we're putting enough hair. He actually is kind of generous in the hair department. Obviously, that's not the most normal version of Zen, but yeah, I'm thinking if he's about to get in a battle, I want him to look extremely comfortable, extremely confident. He's not even concerned, because he's going to make short work of this guy. It's what he does. Okay, and we'll make sure that his bull neck is fairly evident. Sorry, I'm scratching my nose. Okay, so now we'll just knock that sucker down to there and add a layer. And now we're going to do this the traditional way. So stabilizer's on, and actually I'm going to turn this on so I can use this essentially as much as possible. As much as possible. We're going to, sorry, I really scratching my nose. Okay, so whenever you're using mirroring, you want to make sure you don't inadvertently make the eyes look like they're sort of staring in a strange way. It's actually quite easy to do that accidentally when you are using mirroring. So, but yeah, I've been watching Toradora. Kind of a long story about how I came across that particular anime, but so I don't think I'm going to waste your time and mine relating that story, but it's a good anime. It's fun. It's a bit silly, definitely. So we're going to go ahead and fill that all in black, and then we'll just go like this. And there you have it. So we'll deal with the eyebrows afterwards. So, hey, here's a flesh tone. What do you know? Alright, so I'm going to fill it behind. Actually, before I fill it behind, we'll leave it in behind mode, but let's do the whites of his eyes in behind mode. No, let's not. Let's do his steel blue eyes in behind mode. You want to put first things first, because remember, in behind mode, in fact, let's do the pupils. The good thing about behind mode is it makes it impossible to inadvertently, as you can see, I'm not even trying to avoid the pupils, because in behind mode, it becomes impossible to inadvertently cover the stuff that has already been painted, which is quite groovy. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to I'm going to add some details to these eyes here in a bit so that they are a little more, let's say, dimensional. So they have a little bit more interest to them. Okay. So now let's just go ahead and slam a flesh tone in there. Something like that, I would say. Fill tool. Boom! Yeah. Yep, we'll deal with shadows later. Okay, still in behind mode. And then he's got hair that's almost black, but it's got a little bitty bit of a blue tint to it. Why? I don't know. It's just what I did when I started drawing the guy. So in this case, geez, do we even need to? What are we going to do with this background? I tell you what, I'm just gonna put a neutral color in there. Okay. So where does that leave us? Well, details. Let's first, before we get into shadows, let's go back into normal mode, and what I'm going to do is boom. This stabilizer's kind of getting old. Alright, so I'm going to go like so. Alright, that's cool. And then we're going to put a shadow up there. Question is, do we want a little bit of a highlight? I think so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go like this. Boom. We'll sort of make a little formula about it. Go like, whoops, we don't want to do that. Actually, or do we? I'm actually thinking maybe we do want to do that. See, the good thing about doing the opacity, instead of, if you do it at the layer level, then it's all going to be the same opacity. If you do it at the brush level, then each time you brush over it again, things get a little bit brighter, right? So I'm going to make this really transparent so that I can actually go like this. And just add that little bit of dimensionality in his eyes. Okay, so now back to our layers. Let's go ahead and grab the eyebrow color, and there's probably more than one way we could do this, but I'm going to try just bringing this up to about 60. Not bad, actually. Sometimes you just have to draw stuff and see, see if it worked. So I think we're good. With that, I'm going to save my work. What shot are we on? That's a great question, Dave. I'm glad you asked. The answer would be 137. So we're on 138. So I've said this before. One of the things I like about Krita is all of the everything's in the Krita file. So I've had more than one situation with OpenTune 0138 where, because of the way it references external files for the levels and for the images, you can have some issues, let's just say. To put it really generously and nicely, it can definitely create some issues. So I'm going to go ahead and just say, well, let's just thicken him up with a bit of a shadow. The way I do shadows tends to work pretty well in the sense that this is not necessarily an anime convention, but I tend to like having the shadow be like here with his hair. I want to see a little bit of a shadow on the hair as well as the shadow cast by the hair. So that, because I happen to like that aesthetic, I don't like that. That's better. Okay, so because I like that aesthetic, it's pretty easy to just slam the shadows down there and go, it doesn't matter if you're half overlapping the hair because that's actually what you want. So now having done that, the one thing I do need to do though is go like, whoops, sorry. Let's go like this. Just going back in with the eraser and tighten up those pointies. That's what we'll call them, pointies. Okay, the only thing missing, however, would be, I do want a little bit of a shadow under his eyes and a little bit of a shadow over his eyes. Over his, the whites of his eyes. Okay, so boom. Put a little nose indicator in there. And now I'm going to leave it like that. And what do we got here? I would say that just needs... Oh, come on. Come on, as my great friend, the late, great Donnie O used to say. Come on. Okay. And with that, what we're going to do is save our work and actually just save as anime, render, and we don't want this to be... It almost seems sacrilegious to make it a JPEG, because JPEGs are a lossy format. So, okay, alright, I'll do the right thing and do it as a ping. So there's the ping, 0138. And so, now what we can do is we're going to do here the same thing we did with the last shot, which is to take... I am in the other window, and I'm going to the render folder, and I'm looking for the ping. Ping, 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 ping. There's the pings. There is... I guess these are being sorted by file name, so actually this ping will be towards the end. So there it is. I'm going to just drag it in there. And then what I'm going to do is the same thing I did with the Ninja, which is I'm just going to insert a key for image crop. I'm going to go I for insert, just hit the I key, boom, boom. Okay. And then here, I found that for this type of a slow push, frankly, if you just do 10 on a normal length shot, because obviously however long the shot is determines how fast the push occurs. But I just turn all these to 10, so they're being cropped by 10 pixels, and now we get a little push on Zen. So what happens is we get da-da, da-da, which I love. That's great. That's exactly what I was after. So I dig it. Modifiers, I definitely need a curves modifier on this particular shot. However, because, I mean, come on. That's too bright, isn't it? Yeah, that's too bright. So let's go here. That feels about right. Okay. Well, that was stupidly easy. That only took 20 minutes. So, you know what? I'm going to stop recording, and we're going to call that good for this shot. And then we'll come back and start adding the next one. So, as I love to say, there will be more.